You know that strange ache that hits when you've done everything right? Visualized, affirmed, journaled, and still, nothing moves? You wake up trying to stay high vibe, but by noon, you're tired of pretending you're not frustrated. It's not that you don't believe. It's that it feels like the universe is still tuned to another station, one where your desires are playing, but you can't quite catch the signal. That's the real reason people burn out on manifestation. They're not wrong for wanting. They're just broadcasting on the wrong frequency. Because your energy field is not just a concept, it's a literal broadcast, a composite of your nervous system, your emotional baseline, your attention, and your subconscious stories. Every thought, every tension in your body, every subtle emotion is part of the signal you're sending into the field. The universe doesn't respond to the sentences in your head. It mirrors the music you're actually vibrating. Think of it like an old analog radio. You can twist the dial all you want, but if there's static, doubt, fear, control, you'll miss the clarity of the station that's already playing what you asked for. Manifestation isn't about creating the signal. It's about matching it. The song is there. The problem is the static. And that static isn't moral failure. It's misalignment between what you say you want and what your nervous system believes is safe to receive. That's why you can affirm "I am abundant" and still feel the tightening in your chest when you check your bank app. Your words are tuned to one station, but your body's still clinging to another. Once you learn how to actually tune, not think, not force, but calibrate your energy field, you stop begging reality to change. It starts syncing itself to you. Because the truth is, your manifestation is not delayed. It's simply waiting for you to become the frequency that can hear it. When you finally understand how manifestation really happens, it stops feeling like a spiritual lottery and starts feeling like physics, subtle, emotional physics. Every outcome in your life is a station on the spectrum of frequency. Each station is already broadcasting. The relationship that feels like home, the creative flow, the financial ease, none of them need to be built from scratch. They already exist as vibrational patterns in the quantum field. You don't make them happen. You tune in. Now here's the part most people miss. Tuning isn't mental. It's embodied observation. The observer effect, yes, the one from quantum experiments, shows that observation changes the outcome of what's being observed. But it's not just seeing. It's the state from which you're seeing. A fearful observer collapses one version of reality. A coherent, relaxed observer collapses another. You are the instrument interpreting the field, and the quality of your tuning defines which version of life you experience. If your energy field is the radio, then your body is the antenna. Every muscle that holds tension, every micro-expression of distrust, every habit of scanning for what's missing, they all distort your signal. The frequency of what you want is steady. It's your reception that shifts. Here's how it actually works. Your attention is the dial. Wherever you place it, you send a wave of coherence or static through your system. When you attend with curiosity and openness, your neural, emotional, and electromagnetic patterns align. When you attend with lack or grasping, they scramble. Manifestation is coherence stabilized through awareness. That's why thinking positive never works if your body doesn't believe you. The field reads your coherence, not your captions. It doesn't respond to effort. It responds to resonance. When you feel yourself rushing, doubting, checking if it's working, that's static. But when you drop into the body, breathe into the now, and let yourself feel the version of you who already lives the outcome, something shifts. The signal locks. The field synchronizes. Reality starts rearranging itself around your new tone, not your old effort. So the real question isn't, how do I manifest faster? It's, how do I tune cleaner? Because the field is always saying yes to whatever you are broadcasting now. The power lies in learning how to shift your frequency on command, not by controlling thoughts, but by mastering embodiment. And once you see the mechanism clearly, you'll understand why one of the biggest manifestation myths has been keeping your signal jammed this whole time. Here's the myth that jams almost every person's signal, that you have to stay positive to manifest what you want. That's like saying a radio has to smile to pick up music. You don't manifest through pretending, you manifest through precision. Your frequency isn't made of happy thoughts, it's made of coherent energy. And coherence can include sadness, anger, uncertainty, even grief, as long as it's fully felt and integrated. Static isn't the emotion itself. Static is resistance to the emotion. Let's bring this into something real. Imagine you've just sent a message to someone you care about, someone who used to reply instantly. Minutes stretch, then hours, The silence becomes louder than the room you're sitting in. Your mind starts spinning stories. Did I say too much? Did I do something wrong? You check your phone again, refresh, recheck. Right there, your energy field splits. Your body tightens, your breath goes shallow, and your attention locks on the absence of response. The frequency you're broadcasting isn't connection, it's lack. You're tuned to the version of reality where you're waiting, not receiving. You can't force the other person to text, but you can retune your field. Watch what happens if you pause. Feel the tension in your chest, the micro panic behind your ribs. Don't rush to fix it. Just notice it. Then, instead of asking, why aren't they responding? Shift the question to, what station am I tuned to right now? Let your breath deepen. Unclench your jaw. Imagine yourself as the receiver, not the seeker. Your energy starts to soften. The static lowers. The frequency stabilizes. You've just tuned from grasping to coherence. And that coherence is magnetic. When the body relaxes, your electromagnetic field expands. Your attention returns to the now. Suddenly, you're no longer vibrating from absence. You're broadcasting presence. And the moment you do that, the universe has no choice but to mirror it. Sometimes through that very text, sometimes through a better alignment entirely. The myth says, don't feel negative. The truth says, feel fully, then tune clean. Because the signal isn't blocked by emotion, it's blocked by resistance to emotion. And when you really get that, you'll see the next key isn't about managing feelings at all. It's about mastering the system that regulates your frequency in real time. Your nervous system is the real tuning knob. You can't hold a coherent frequency if your body doesn't feel safe. Every manifestation technique in the world collapses the moment your body goes into survival mode, because survival scrambles the signal. Think about it. When you're anxious, your heart rate spikes, your breath shortens, your perception narrows, your entire electromagnetic field contracts. You start scanning for threat instead of resonance. And the field around you, being purely reflective, mirrors that contraction right back as delay, friction, or confusion. It's not punishing you. It's matching your bandwidth. Safety is coherence. The more regulated your system, the clearer your transmission. That's why people who feel grounded seem to manifest effortlessly. They're not forcing reality to obey them. They're simply stable enough for the signal to land. Let's make this practical for 60 seconds. Sit or stand as you are. Drop your shoulders. Let your belly loosen. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold, and exhale longer than you inhaled. Again, in, pause, longer out. Now, as you breathe, imagine your entire body as a radio receiver. With every exhale, the static fades. With every inhale, the channel sharpens. You don't need to visualize a thing. Just feel the wave of ease expanding from your chest. Now gently bring to mind something you've been trying to manifest. A conversation, a payment, a shift. Notice the sensation in your body when you think of it. If there's tightening, that's your system saying, I don't feel safe holding this yet. Don't fight it. Instead, send your breath right there. Safety first, manifestation second. That's the order nature uses too. A flower doesn't bloom faster by straining. It opens when the environment supports it. Your field is the same. When you feel safe in your own frequency, you stop chasing signals outside yourself. Reality synchronizes around your relaxed coherence. The secret most people overlook is that your energy field follows your vagus nerve. The more relaxed and rhythmic your breath, the more balanced your heart-brain communication becomes. And that communication is your vibrational signature. This is why embodiment isn't an optional add-on. It's the access point. Once your nervous system learns that receiving is safe, it stops confusing expansion with danger. And when that happens, your manifestations stop glitching. They start arriving. Because coherence isn't about effort, it's about rhythm. And in that rhythm, something far deeper begins to awaken. Not just the signal, but the self that sends it. Most people treat their energetic state like a mood swing, something to chase, fix, or maintain. But energy tuning only holds when it locks into identity, because a temporary state broadcasts briefly, and identity broadcasts continuously. Think about how a professional musician doesn't try to stay on key. Their whole body is tuned to the instrument. Their muscle memory carries the tone. They're not maintaining frequency. They are frequency. Manifestation works the same way. When you say, I'm trying to feel abundant, your very sentence tells the field that abundance is separate from you. You're attempting to enter a state rather than embody a self. But once your body and subconscious agree, I am a person for whom abundance is natural, your broadcast stabilizes. The field no longer needs to rearrange itself to compensate. It simply mirrors what already is. You can feel the difference. A state feels like a performance. An identity feels like home. A state needs reminders. An identity acts automatically. A state requires energy to sustain. An identity generates energy. And this is where most people loop. They can visualize perfectly for a few minutes, but once life triggers their old identity, the tuning collapses back to the familiar static of self-doubt or unworthiness. Not because the manifestation failed, but because the broadcaster reverted to an older frequency map. Your nervous system will always return to what feels safest. If scarcity, rejection, or waiting has been your familiar background noise for years, your system will tune itself back there the moment you stop consciously holding the dial. That's why the real art is to teach your body that the frequency of your desired identity is safe. Let's reframe this simply. States are songs you visit. Identities are playlists your field plays by default. So when you catch yourself asking, how do I hold the energy? Shift the question. Ask, who am I being that already holds it? Because if you need to hold it, you're still outside it. But when you become it, the field stabilizes around your signal automatically. The tuning isn't about staying high. It's about staying real. You don't have to chase the peak moment of coherence. You just have to install it into who you are. And once you understand that identity isn't fixed but frequency-based, the next realization changes everything about timelines, choice, and what instant manifestation truly means. Every identity is a timeline. Each version of you, confident or doubtful, trusting or frantic, tunes to a completely different stream of events. When you shift who you believe you are, you don't attract a new future, you phase into it. Think of your identity as a frequency band on a vast radio. The moment you move from, I hope it happens, to, I am the person for whom this is normal, the signal snaps to another broadcast, one that was already playing, waiting for your coherence to match. That's what people mean by timeline collapse. Not time speeding up, but the static between identities dissolving. Let's make it tangible. You're staring at an upcoming bill. You've done the affirmations, the gratitude list, the visualizations. Still, your stomach tightens when you open your banking app. That tightening is a frequency. It's the station of survival. And from that station, all you'll hear are songs of delay and shortage. But there's another version of you, on a nearby channel, who handles this moment differently. That version feels calm, resourceful, certain that money moves easily and often. They don't chase, they tune. And because their frequency is steadier, the field organizes itself to match. Opportunities, conversations, unexpected inflows. The bridge between these timelines isn't hustle, it's coherence of identity. You don't have to wait for your external circumstances to change to access that version. You have to step into their frequency now. You do it through micro-embodiment, breathing as they breathe, standing as they stand, seeing as they see. Because identity isn't a story. It's a vibration stabilized through repetition. Every time you embody that timeline, even for 30 seconds, your field rewires. The neurons in your brain, the rhythm of your heart, the electromagnetic wave around your body, they all begin to record this new baseline as normal. And once normal shifts, manifestation accelerates. Not because reality bent, but because the receiver stopped flickering between stations. This is how instantaneous manifestation becomes possible. Not through control, but through congruence. You don't wait for your new life to load. You enter the broadcast where it's already playing. The gap of time is just the gap of embodiment. So next time fear shows up, remember, you're not trying to create a new reality. You're stabilizing a new self. And that self already lives in the outcome you've been asking for. Because once you learn how to tune your identity to its matching timeline, the field doesn't take time to respond. It takes coherence. Once you understand that tuning is an identity-based practice, the next step is rehearsal. Not mental rehearsal, but energetic. Because embodiment is built the same way muscle memory is, through repetition and safety. There are 4 tools I use every day to keep my signal clean. First, bridge statements. These are gentle frequency shifters between your current identity and your chosen one. Instead of jumping from I'm broke to I'm rich, which your body might reject, you tune through gradients. I'm learning how to stabilize abundance. I'm discovering what it feels like to trust money. I'm remembering that support has always been near. Each sentence builds coherence instead of friction. It's not about positive thinking, it's about believable tuning. Second, somatic anchors. Your body needs a reference point to return to coherence quickly. Choose one physical cue, a hand on your chest, a slow exhale, or pressing your feet into the ground, and pair it with the feeling of safety or expansion. Over time, that cue becomes a frequency shortcut. Whenever you start spiraling, anchor. The body will recall the signal even before the mind catches up. Third, the mirror frequency drill. Once a day, stand before a mirror. Look into your own eyes, not to judge, but to tune. Speak to yourself as the version who already lives your desired timeline. Feel the subtle difference between pretending and inhabiting. The more real that version feels in your body, the faster reality sinks. Fourth, the 60-second coherence reset. Set a timer. Breathe into your heart. On each exhale, imagine static leaving your field. Resentment, urgency, fear. On each inhale, imagine tuning to clarity. After 1 minute, open your eyes. You've just shifted frequency. Do it before important calls, creative work, or difficult conversations. You'll feel your entire field recalibrate. Remember, manifestation isn't magic. It's energetic consistency. You're training your nervous system to stay fluent in the frequency of your future. Each small rehearsal stabilizes the identity that once felt unreachable. And here's something to notice in your own life. Have you seen how the moment you stopped gripping, what you wanted finally showed up? Tell me your story in the comments. It might unlock someone else's leap, because every story is a transmission. And every time you share yours, you strengthen the field for others to tune faster too. Even when you know how tuning works, 3 hidden distortions can throw your signal off track. They're subtle, logical even, but they keep your frequency looping in static. Urgency, split signals, and over-control. Let's start with urgency. That desperate hum that whispers, "It has to happen now." Urgency contracts the field. It tells your nervous system there's danger in the gap between desire and manifestation. The moment you make time your enemy, your frequency collapses into survival mode, and the broadcast you send is lack. The antidote isn't pretending you don't care. It's expanding your tolerance for waiting without tightening. When you can hold desire and peace in the same breath, the field stops registering lack and starts reading readiness. Try this. Breathe, then repeat internally. It's safe for it to unfold in perfect rhythm. Feel what happens in your body when you allow the tempo to slow. That's alignment returning. Then comes split signals. This is when one part of you says, "I want this," while another quietly whispers, "But if I get it, I'll lose something else." It's the energetic equivalent of playing 2 radio stations at once. Noise. You might want a new level of visibility, yet fear being judged. You want love, yet fear losing independence. The field receives both instructions and mirrors confusion. To dissolve the split, bring both parts into awareness. Don't exile the fear. Invite it. Say, "I hear that you're scared, and we can go together." Coherence doesn't mean eliminating doubt. It means harmonizing it so the entire system moves as one wave. And finally, over-control. This is the static of the thinking mind trying to micromanage the signal, checking for results, tracking timelines, re-scripting every outcome. Control is a subtle form of mistrust. It tells the field, "I don't believe you'll match me unless I push." But the field mirrors frequency, not effort. When you relax your grip, your magnetism rises. You become the receiver again instead of the broadcaster of panic. To transmute control, shift your role from director to conductor. A conductor doesn't force each musician to play. They maintain rhythm and trust the orchestra. You do the same. Stabilize your coherence and let the field harmonize the rest. Urgency, splits, and control are not failures. They're invitations to refine your instrument. Because every time you relax into trust, unify your desire, and release the timeline, you're not losing momentum. You're clearing static. And from there, manifestation feels less like chasing a song and more like remembering the one that's always been playing underneath. The real mastery isn't tuning once in meditation. It's staying tuned while living. Because coherence isn't something you do. It's something you become. You can tell the difference instantly. When you wake up already scanning your phone, the static starts before your feet hit the floor. But when you open your eyes and pause, just enough to feel your breath syncing with your heartbeat, you begin the day already in frequency. That tiny gap before the world floods in is where alignment either anchors or leaks. Integration begins in micro moments. When you walk, notice the rhythm of your steps. Each one can broadcast coherence. The way your heel meets the ground, the swing of your arms, the steady pattern of your breath, all of it is vibrational data. Walk as the version of you who already lives your desired timeline, not imagining, embodying. The field reads your motion as identity. When you eat, you're not just consuming food, you're absorbing frequency. If you eat rushed, your system codes scarcity. If you eat with presence, your body learns sufficiency. Blessing food isn't superstition, it's resonance training. You're teaching your cells that receiving is safe, that nourishment is normal. Even conversations are tuning opportunities. Notice how certain people amplify your frequency and others pull you into static. It's not personal, it's resonance. But instead of withdrawing, practice coherence in contact. When someone vents or criticizes, don't match their static. Breathe through your heart. Feel your frequency stay stable. You'll sense your field influencing theirs. Subtle, calm, magnetic. That's energetic leadership, the quiet kind that changes rooms without a word. Coherence doesn't isolate you. It weaves you deeper into life. You start to sense that every interaction is a mirror for your current station. Each moment becomes a chance to retune. It's not work, it's awareness, practiced through embodiment. And here's the most surprising part. The more you embody this in ordinary moments, the less you need techniques. The field starts responding before you even ask. You think of someone, and they message. You release a worry, and a solution appears. You stop forcing reality to listen because it already is. Living tuned means you're always in silent dialogue with the field, adjusting, harmonizing, co-creating. But what happens when you expand that coherence beyond personal goals? When you start tuning, not just for yourself, but for purpose, for others, for something larger. That's when the signal amplifies in ways you can't imagine. Once your personal frequency stabilizes, the field starts extending your signal outward. You'll notice it first in your relationships, then in your work, and eventually in your entire sense of purpose. Because coherence doesn't just change your outcomes, it reorganizes your ecosystem. In relationships, you stop attracting what validates your wounds and start magnetizing what mirrors your wholeness. You no longer bond over pain, you resonate through peace. The people who match your old static may drift, not as punishment, but as recalibration. New connections appear that feel like exhale, familiar, grounded, effortless. You're not chasing belonging anymore, you're broadcasting it. In creativity, the same shift transforms your output. Let's use a scenario. You sit at your desk, staring at a blank page, cursor blinking like a tiny pulse of accusation. Your mind says, "Come on, think of something," but nothing flows. That's not lack of inspiration, it's energetic congestion. You're tuned to the frequency of trying. Now take a breath, loosen your jaw. Imagine your body as a resonant chamber. Instead of thinking, "Listen, the signal was never gone," you were just tuned to the wrong station. Within seconds, words begin to arrive, not from effort, but from alignment. This is creative coherence, the same physics that govern manifestation. Health follows the same law. Your cells are receivers too. When you hold chronic stress, your biochemistry hums in survival tone, narrow, defensive. But when you sustain coherence, your physiology shifts. Heart rhythms smooth, digestion improves, immune intelligence increases. Healing accelerates not through willpower, but through vibrational permission. The body hears safety and responds accordingly. And purpose. Purpose isn't found, it's tuned. It's the broadcast that matches your highest coherence. The clearer your frequency, the louder it becomes. You stop asking, "What should I do?" and start feeling, "What wants to happen through me?" When you live tuned, life stops being about achievement and starts being about transmission. Every act, writing, cooking, speaking, becomes a waveform of service. That's the secret most people miss. Manifestation isn't selfish. Coherence ripples. Your frequency contributes to the collective field. When you tune yourself, you tune reality around you. Every calm breath in chaos stabilizes the grid for everyone near. But the deeper this practice goes, the more you realize it's not only psychological or energetic, it's something vaster, something almost cosmic. Because the same force that arranges your manifestations is the same intelligence shaping galaxies. And once you feel that connection directly, the entire meaning of manifestation evolves into something sacred. There comes a point in tuning where you realize you were never generating the signal, you were remembering it. The energy that responds to you is the same intelligence breathing you. The quantum field stops feeling abstract and starts feeling intimate, almost tender. You're not manifesting against reality. You're co-resonating with it. This is where the spiritual and the scientific merge. Because the observer effect doesn't only show that attention changes outcomes, it reveals that consciousness itself is the field. You're not a separate observer shaping matter. You're the field looking through human eyes, tuning itself from within. When you reach that understanding, manifestation becomes less about control and more about surrender. Not the weak kind, but the powerful kind. The kind that says, I trust the frequency I'm part of to arrange the details better than my mind could. You stop negotiating with the universe because you realize there was never a you and it. There was only coherence or static, union or interference. Surrender doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means releasing resistance while staying fully engaged. It's the art of allowing while participating. Like a surfer doesn't fight the wave. They tune to its rhythm. They align their movement with its power. You do the same with the current of life. You'll notice that when you move from will to willingness, synchronicities multiply. Time bends. Solutions appear in impossible ways. It's not luck. It's alignment with the intelligence that already knows the shortest route between where you are and what you've asked for. And perhaps the greatest paradox, the moment you no longer need the manifestation to complete you, it arrives with ease. Because in that moment, you've transcended the illusion of separation, the very illusion that caused static in the first place. You've remembered what the mystics and physicists both keep pointing to. Consciousness is not inside the body is inside consciousness. You were never trying to tune to the field, you are the field fine-tuning itself. That's why the most potent frequency you can emit is gratitude, not as performance, but as recognition. Gratitude is the signal of awareness meeting itself. It's coherence embodied. And when you live there, inside that quiet, surrendered knowing, manifestation becomes a natural consequence of being. Because the universe doesn't respond to your pressure, it harmonizes with your peace. In the end, manifestation isn't a race towards something new. It's the art of remembering the song that's been playing underneath your noise all along. Every time you breathe through fear instead of fighting it, every time you soften your body instead of bracing, every time you choose coherence over control, you clear a little more static from your frequency, and suddenly, the melody becomes unmistakable. The universe was never ignoring you. It was simply waiting for you to hear your own broadcast clearly enough to match it. Imagine standing in a quiet room with an old radio. At first, all you hear is fuzz. You twist the dial slightly, and the static breaks into fragments of sound. A voice, a chord, a pulse, another millimeter, and the entire song floods the room. It was there the whole time, waiting for precision. That's what tuning your energy field feels like. And here's the beautiful paradox. The moment you stop trying to make the song louder and instead listen deeper, it fills the room effortlessly. When you live tuned, you no longer chase alignment. You are alignment. You move through life like a conductor of unseen music, adjusting rhythm and tone through breath, presence, and trust. You begin to see every moment, even the difficult ones, as feedback from the field saying, we're still playing together. And from that space, manifestations are no longer the goal. They're the echo of coherence. The more you listen, the faster they appear, not as miracles, but as natural harmonics of your tuned self. So tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and imagine the dial of your energy turning gently, settling into its perfect frequency. Feel the static fade. Feel the music rise. That's your signal coming home. Because you don't manifest with force. You manifest with frequency.